There is a lake in East Africa so deadly that it turns the animals that touch it to stone. Birds, bats, even small mammals. Frozen mid-motion, perfectly preserved, like statues carved by an invisible hand. For years, photographs of these calcified creatures spread across the internet, and people refused to believe they were real. But they are. This is Lake Natron, and it is one of the strangest places on Earth. Lake Natron lies in the north of Tanzania, in the shadow of an active volcano along the floor of the Great Rift Valley. From above, it looks almost beautiful. Swirls of deep red and orange, like a wound in the landscape or a window into another planet. But that color is a warning. The lake is fed by mineral-rich hot springs, and it has no outlet to the sea. Water flows in, but it can only leave by evaporating under the brutal equatorial sun. And as it evaporates, it leaves everything behind: salt, and a chemical so powerful it can strip the flesh from bone. Sodium carbonate, natron. Natron is the same substance the ancient Egyptians used to mummify their dead. It draws the moisture out of anything it touches. In the lake, it pushes the water to a pH as high as 10.5, almost as caustic as ammonia. And on a hot day, the surface can reach 60 degrees Celsius. To most living things, Lake Natron is not water. It is acid and salt and fire combined. An animal that lands on its mirror-like surface, mistaking it for open sky, rarely escapes. The water coats them. And then, slowly, it begins to preserve them. In 2013, a photographer named Nick Brandt traveled to the lake and found the bodies washed up along its shore. Birds and bats turned to stone, their feathers and skin perfectly intact, hardened with calcium and soda. He posed them as if alive, perched on branches, and the images stunned the world. There is a myth that the lake turns animals to stone the instant they touch it. The truth is stranger and slower. The caustic water kills them, and then the minerals calcify their remains, freezing them in time. The dry, chemical air mummifies whatever is left. Nothing rots, nothing decays. They simply stay. You would think nothing could survive here. And yet, Lake Natron is home to life found almost nowhere else on Earth. Its red color comes from microscopic organisms, salt-loving cyanobacteria, that bloom across the water in their billions. And those bacteria feed one of the most spectacular gatherings in the entire animal kingdom. Every year, over 2 million lesser flamingos descend on Lake Natron. It is the single most important breeding ground for the species on the planet. The very thing that makes the lake deadly to others makes it a fortress for them. The caustic water keeps predators away, leaving the flamingos to raise their chicks in near-perfect safety. But where does all of this chemistry come from? The answer rises just to the south, a volcano called Oldoinyo Lengai. To the Maasai people, its name means the mountain of God, and it is unlike any other volcano on Earth. Every other volcano erupts molten rock. Oldoinyo Lengai erupts something else entirely, a rare, cool black lava made of sodium and carbonate, so unusual that this is the only place on the planet where it happens. When that lava cools, it turns ghostly white, and over thousands of years, its minerals have washed down into the basin below, loading the water with the very soda that makes Lake Natron so deadly. The lake is, quite literally, the child of the mountain. For all its menace, Lake Natron is also fragile. Because 3/4 of the world's lesser flamingos are born here, it is one of the most important wildlife sites in all of Africa. And in the late 2000s, it was nearly lost. A company proposed building a soda ash factory right on its shore, pumping out the very chemicals the flamingos depend on. Conservationists warned it could wipe out the entire breeding population in a single generation. After years of pressure, the plan was finally shelved, but the lake remains under threat from development, from rising temperatures, from a world creeping ever closer to its edges. The flamingos have nowhere else to go. So Lake Natron is two things at once: a graveyard and a sanctuary, a place that turns wandering animals into statues, and the same place where millions of flamingos are born. It is a reminder that nature does not deal in simple stories. The most hostile corner of the planet can also be the safest. And somewhere in northern Tanzania, beneath a silent volcano, the red water is still rising and falling, still preserving everything that dares to touch it, frozen, silent, and entirely real.